Hello, moviegoers, and welcome to another edition of Have You Seen It? I'm your host, Denise. And before I get to my review, you know I have to tell you who my favorite actor is this week. My favorite actor is Matthew Broderick, who has a decades-long career. And the first time I remember seeing Matthew Broderick in a movie was Ferris Bueller's Day Off. You talk about a high school kid who literally takes the day off and has the best day ever. And then he was in the movie Glory, where he commanded a troop of soldiers. And no hard feelings. In this movie, he's like pretty much a clueless dad who is trying to get his son laid for the first time. So check those movies out if you want to see the talented Matthew Broderick. All right, folks, I'm going to jump now into my review. And my review this week is the movie They Will Kill You. And this movie just came out the end of March, and it wasn't initially on my radar. I don't even remember seeing a review of the movie, but when I was searching for something to review this week, I came across it and I'm like, okay, I'm going to check it out. This movie stars the beautiful Zazie Beetz, Mihala, Patricia Arquette, Patterson Joseph, Angus Sampson, and Heather Graham, who I haven't seen in a minute, to be honest. All right. This movie was wild AF, crazy AF, but it was good. And so this is a movie about a woman who takes a job as a housekeeper in a New York City high-rise. It's called the Virgil, but she is unaware of the history of this building and what actually goes on in that building. So at the beginning of the movie, we have Asia, played by Zazie Beetz, and her sister Maria, played by Mihala. They are trying to escape/run away from their abusive dad. And so in doing so, you know, they run into like a corner store, like 7-Eleven type store, where they are found, and the father is shot by Asia. So she's trying to kill him, but she just kind of wounds him, and he has to, go to the hospital. But in her panic, she runs away from the scene, leaving her young sister still in the care of that abusive dad. So she is apprehended, and she spends 10 years and some change in jail. Okay, for attempted murder. So as the movie begins, now there are a lot of flashbacks in this movie. So when Asia seeks employment at this particular this particular high rise, it's 10 years later. Now, during the time that she was in jail, separated from both the dad and the sister, of course, at some point kind of remorse kind of sets in, and she kind of feels bad for what she's done. And so she hires a private investigator to find out where her sister is. And so the private investigator does some digging and finds out that she is being employed at this high-rise apartment/hotel. And so Asia figures, okay, great. When I find this place, I can go and find my sister. We can kind of reconnect and move on from there. Well, when she applies for the job there, because she wants to go sort of incognito, and she wants to go and find her, but it's been some time, so it might be a total shock to the sister's system once she sees, her older sibling. And so she finds out that another woman has also applied for the same job as a housekeeper, and she is supposed to start work on the same day as Asia. And so when she does appear at the apartment, she does not give her real name, but the name of this other woman who was applying for the same job. All right. So in the movie, you don't see how these two women interacted with each other. So your mind, you just kind of have to connect your own dots at this point, because again, there's a lot of flashbacks going on. So once she enters the apartment / hotel, Patricia Arquette is the superintendent. And as soon as I saw her answer the door and her tone and the way she was dressed, I knew she would be a problem. And so once our main character is settled in her room, it's not long before everything goes haywire. Even walking to her room, she notices something weird with the lights, in the hallway where she is, where her room is situated. So already she got some kind of heebie-jeebies. And so she, goes into her room and just kind of really secures herself. Fast forward. Someone enters her room and attacks her. And so she's got a fight on her hands. And so she fights this particular person because she comes now to this hotel with a suitcase. All right. So she's got a nice size rolling suitcase, but once she opens it, you get to see exactly what's in there. So she fights off this first person, and then others come in and they're all dressed like the Grim Reaper. And she's like really tripping at this point. Who are these people? Why are they after me? And what's going on? So she kills them. Fast forward, the superintendent, she's like, I got to figure out what's going on here. Superintendent says, I know you aren't who you said you were. What's up? And she tells her, hey, I'm here looking for my sister. I know she works here. I just want to, get her and bring her home. Not happening, sister. So that's when everything, all the wheels fall off of this wagon. She is literally hunted down inside of this, hotel establishment, trying to get away from people who have come back to life and are trying to kill her. Okay, so we find out as this movie progresses, we've got some satanic, demonic nonsense going on in this building. And for 90 minutes, Zazie Beetz' character, Asia, is literally running from these people in search of her sister. She's trying to kill them and they are trying to kill her. The problem is that everyone who works in the apartment building is immortal. So she can do all the killing that she wants, but they just come back to life and pursue her even more. So this goes on again, the whole movie. It is crazy. There are some comedic, there's some comedic dialogue in the movie, but it's basically running, chopping, stabbing, shooting, decapitating, and then rinse and repeat. And our main character does all of this first, which was, kind of interesting, just in her, the pajama shirt she went to sleep in and her underwear and no shoes. At some point, though, she did put on a pair of sweatpants, and for the whole movie, she was fighting like crazy with no shoes on. She is crawling through the air ducts, the vents in the building, trying to, free herself and figure out what is going on in this crazy place. And so, fast forward, once she does find her sister, we're not sure the sister really, really wants to leave this place because of, again, they haven't seen each other in 10 years, so they kind of butt heads. And, the older sister's like, listen, there's some crazy stuff going on in here. I'm trying to save you, but we're not sure what the younger sister's mental state is. And so you fast forward to the end, and the end, I won't tell you who the demonic leader is and what the symbolism is for this demonic leader. But I'm telling you, with all the blood that was in that movie, it could fill up a blood bank. There was blood everywhere. And by the time it was over, our main character, Zazie Beetz, is full of blood, and she's all jacked up and cut up and slashed up and all this, and still looking beautiful. And her hair is just the bomb. I love her hair, and it was just all over the place, but it just kind of fit into this film. So if you like, I guess you would call it a horror thriller, but I'm telling you, I was exhausted when the movie was over because, as I'm watching the movie and I'm watching, her trying to get away from these people, climbing up, elevator shafts and crawling and running and all of this, I was exhausted. And that film was physically demanding for her, I'm sure. So if you have any questions about whether or not Zazie Beetz can carry a film as a heroine who really, really kicks butt, you don't have to worry about it. She carried that movie. So that is my review. They Will Kill You, starring Zazie Beetz. All right, I'm going to jump into my Nailed It. And since we're on an adrenaline rush, because that movie was an adrenaline rush, my Nailed It comes from the movie The Italian Job. It's one of those movies that anytime it comes on TV, I watch it. And I think I live for the getaway scene with the Mini Coopers and the planning and the execution, the precision, the timing of how those Mini Coopers got in that subway and how they were weaving in and out of traffic and weaving in and out of pedestrians unscathed, and no pedestrian was hurt in the process. So that is my Nailed It, the getaway scene with the Mini Coopers from the movie The Italian Job. All right, folks, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. Make sure you hit that like button. And remember, I am available on BlueSky at HYSI. All right, moviegoers, you know what to do. Until next week, I need you to see a movie because I'm going to see a movie. Until next week, bye-bye.